Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS News stream for the 21st of May, 2022. It's unfortunate that I wasn't able to provide you all with a Hornet video this week. We're just going straight into the news on this occasion. Unfortunately, I came up against a bug with the Harpoon missile. When you fire it in one of the multiple modes that it has available to it, it kind of drops off of the aircraft. And then, I can't really tell what's happening, but it seems to suddenly appear under the ground, even though I was up at like 20,000 feet or something. So there's something weird going on there, but I've reported it, and I'm going to try and provide reproduction notes to Eagle, and I'm sure they'll look into that and see what they can do. But I'd spent a lot of time already filming the tutorial and then wasn't able to finish it because one of these modes just wasn't working. And I would quite like to make a complete version of that video when it's possible to do it. Welcome to the stream, Storm Kimbari. Welcome, Byron. Welcome. So yes, this week it's really just the DCS news. Unfortunately, dotChuckles is unable to join us this week, so it's also just me. However, there's not a huge amount of news this week, but there are some interesting little things that have popped up, so we'll cover them all in due course. And as always, I'm monitoring the chat, so please feel free to make comments, ask questions, yes, whatever you like. I am reading the messages and I will respond to them. Mark S, you mean afternoon? What did I say? Oh, that was Byron that said evening. Okay, well, depends where you are. Tech Gaming 45, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Yogi, welcome to the stream. So, as always, let's get started with the DCS Newsletter, which turned up yesterday. Dear fighter pilots, partners and friends, we're pleased that our 2022 Spring Flash Sale runs until the 22nd of May at 1500 GMT. That's tomorrow at 3 PM UK time. This is your chance to land great savings across most of our range of modules, and they provide a link. This week we bring you the latest development progress on DCS K50 Black Shark 3, something that probably most of us had forgotten about or thought might never land. We're currently working on the inertial navigation system. Read the details of this complex task below. And Buddy Spike Server is hosting their first Eagle Dynamics sponsored DCS League event, starting the 30th of May with no registration required. Simply join the server when the competition starts and take to the air. So that all sounds very exciting. Yogi, have you seen the F-15E videos? Yes, that's one of the things we're going to be covering in the news today. Paul Dillon, welcome. Paul Trevor, welcome to the stream, sir. Welcome. So we're going to skip over the flash sale because I covered that last week, and we'll jump straight into the K50 Black Shark 3. The inertial navigation system is based on Dead Reckoning by a double integration of aircraft accelerations that are measured by the accelerometers located on a gyro-stabilized platform. The fundamental property of the INS is the accumulation of coordinate measurement errors over time. With the use of INS mathematical models, we've achieved a realistic error accumulation effect, as well as a physical alignment of the gyro-stabilized platform when the helicopter is started. So yeah, as a result, the INS-derived location can only be determined with limited accuracy. The error in the calculation of coordinates accumulates at the rate of several kilometers per hour, and when starting the INS, it will be necessary that the helicopter remains stationary throughout the alignment procedure. Otherwise, a less accurate alignment will lead to an accelerated accumulation of errors. 3 different alignment options will be available. Fast allows you to take off rapidly, but it provides low accuracy during the flight. Normal and precise provide better accuracy with greater alignment times. When using INS for long flights, correction/fix taking points will be available. Prominent reference points on the ground with known coordinates make it possible to eliminate accumulated errors in 2 ways: by flying over the landmark, the overfly points, or by using Schval tracking of the reference point located away from the route. Thus, navigation in the K50 will become more realistic with the simulation of INS errors that are present in real life. Now, a bunch of this stuff was already in the sim. It sounds to me like they're basically enhancing this simulation, because the ability to do fixies for the INS using the Schval and using overfly points, it has been in the game from the very, very beginning for this module. But yeah, it sounds like maybe they're just updating this a little. I thought that the degradation of accuracy was also modelled for those occasions when you lost GLONASS, because I've had situations with the K50 back in like Black Shark 1, maybe in Black Shark 2 as well, where I was flying in valleys and I lost too many of my constellation of satellites because I didn't have that much visibility of the sky, and my position did start to drift. So I'm assuming this is an improvement to something they already had. But yeah, that is pretty much the newsletter for this week. You've got this Buddy Spike competition, which I encourage you all to take a little look at. But the Black Shark 3 update being the main one. Really good to see that, I think, because I was starting to wonder what was happening with that. Your Black Shark 3, of course, started off as a paid update, and it was going to include new functionality for the K50, but sadly the Russian legal system got in the way of that, and it was no longer possible for them to include that. Paul Dillon, F-15E looks awesome. It does. It's actually looking a bit further along than I expected, so I'm quite happy about that. Byron Farrow, doesn't sound like a very accurate system. INS, INS has been pretty much like this since the 50s. Modern aircraft are able to be way more accurate because they do automated position updates via GPS. So that's the only way that INS maintains any kind of accuracies, because it's normally paired with GPS. Yogi, F-15E has some similarities to the F-18. Does it? I'm not sure. Perhaps that's true. I'm not aware. Cool. The other thing that happened was that we had an open beta update. We're now on 2.7.14.23966, and there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. Fixed some crashes, which is always good to see. They implemented, actually this is probably the big one, the big ticket item, they implemented the first version of the BVR combat AI improvements. This looks like it'll be really cool. There's been some videos posted demonstrating this, and it looks, looks pretty interesting. Coming next will be the basic fighter maneuvers, and that's expected in a June 2022 update, along with some of the stuff that's already been demonstrated for the F-16 and for the Apache. A couple of the items didn't make it into this patch. So, for the F-18, we've got some fixes and crashes, some adjustments to the ACLS, some adjustments to the autopilot and so on. So mostly fixes for the F-18. F-16 has an improvement for the HUD Windows range. I actually have no idea what that means. And then a bunch of fixes. Sadly, the cruise DED page, which you all know I'm a big fan of and I'm excited for, is not in. The expand functions are not in. They didn't have enough time to properly test them due to a long holiday. So those are actually coming in the June 2022 update. And if we take a look at the Apache, we now have the threat rings on the TSD, which is really cool to see. Added keyboard keybinds, improved velocity, attitude, and hold modes, initial work on the hover mode, and then a bunch of fixes. Hellfire Ripple did not make it, and that's also coming in the June 2022 update, along with updates to the first-person pilot models, the target state estimator, the altitude hold, and image auto tracker. So that's pretty exciting. After these, we plan to offer the DCS AH-64D as part of the free trial program. So those of you who are wanting to have a go of the Apache at zero cost as part of the trial will have the option to do that soon. Not an issue. Cold helicopter cannon is intersecting with the ground. It's drooping a little. It's touching the ground. Happens. Byron, the K-50 never appealed a lot with limited in real life deployment, unlike the K-52. Yeah, very true. It's a very limited helicopter. In the real world, it was really not much more than a prototype. It was deployed, I think they deployed them in the Georgian War and in Chechnya. But yes, yeah, they were basically flying deployed prototype aircraft. They were never really in kind of mass serial production. Clint S, are you ever going to let dotChuckles out of the basement? Oh yeah, sadly dotChuckles has been very, very busy recently. He's also had some poor health, and so the poor lad is still not ready to join us in the stream just yet. But I'll be very, very happy to see him again on my screen when he's available. Irish Pat 64. Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. Cool. Yeah, continuing, we've got some updates for the MI24P Hind. We've got some changes to the trim options for the anti-torque pedals. We've added the micro switch options. Yeah, what else? Some fixies. A couple of fixies for one fix for the supercarrier. Bug in the ACL in multiplayer. And that's going to be fixed in the June 2022 update. GF17 gets a bunch of fixies, and they've also added new fuel leaks, which is kind of cool. Gazelle by Polychop Simulations, really cool to see some updates to this helicopter. I'm actually a bit of a fan. So added the first iteration of rewritten code from Multicrew. It's a work in progress. The rocket launcher on the L model is now selectable and removable, and there are new rocket types, new ammunition types available. Known issues are that multi-crew is only supported when the players start pushing buttons after both player slots are occupied. So you both need to get into the helicopter first, and then you can start using it. So that makes perfect sense. Yogi, yes, have you noticed the F-15E stick is exactly the same as the F-18C? I didn't notice that, actually. I should take a look. That's very interesting. Pass on my best wishes to dotChuckles. Get well soon. I will do. And remember to give the channel a thumbs up. Thank you. Byron, throttle is very similar to the A10. Well, actually, the throttle in the A10, the right-hand throttle handle in the A10C comes from the F-15E. It is, in fact, the same throttle. Icy Time, glad to catch you live, Deepak. Your videos got me back into trying to learn DCS. Now I'm able to fly multiple full fidelity aircraft, and I'm having a blast. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad that my tutorials are useful. That's kind of why I do them, because the thing is, I need to learn these aircraft myself, so I need to fly them quite a lot, write lots of notes and so on, and I enjoy teaching, so it's natural for me, once I figured these things out myself, to try and make videos to share that knowledge. So moving on, AV8B Harrier added special options for exporting the MPCD at mission start. It's now possible to ripple fire the Maverick, the infrared Maverick. There's fixies, and that's pretty much it, actually. Mirage 2000C added absolute bad coordinate input in DTC format, and EWR radar to TAF sources, some updates and other fixies. F14 gets a complete ACLS overhaul. Good timing, considering the F18 just got that feature added as well, so that's pretty nice. Improvements to the auto throttle, and then a bunch of fixies. As always with Heat Blur, this is just massive. The amount of stuff that they update in the F14 every time is just huge. This is nice. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Lots of key bindings. And then some fixies for the Viggen as well, which is good to see. And some fixies for campaigns. So that's the update that we had this week. We're on 2.7.14 now. So something that I was really happy to see, something that popped up after a little bit of quiet time, was the MB339A. This is the first video I've seen kind of in cockpit, in game, and they're demonstrating the GPS system that's built into the aircraft. But we also get quite a kind of abbreviated view of the startup as well, which is cool to see. Now, keep in mind, this is very much work in progress. So, I would imagine graphics, sounds, and procedures are all a work in progress. But nonetheless, it gives us a good view of how the GPS works. If I fast forward it a little bit, you see what it looks like after alignment is complete. Really cool to see the repeater display in the front cockpit as well. While you're flying along, you don't have to constantly look down at your console. You actually have some of this information repeated in the front cockpit as well, which is nice. And it seems to have a whole bunch of functionality. You've got flight plans and so on. I don't know why YouTube always insists in reducing the quality. So yeah, looking pretty cool. Looking like a nice aircraft. We now see it in the air. There's the repeater display up there with a bunch of information showing on the screen. Very, very cool. Very cool to see. Be interesting to get our hands on this one. India Fox Deco have got a good reputation on the Microsoft flight simulator side of things. So, you know, got big hopes for this one. So it's going to be cool to see what they deliver. Is the MB399 going to be the new free aircraft in the game? No. No, this is a paid module created by India Foxed Echo. This will not be a free module. The only free aircraft that we have and probably will ever have are the TF-51 and the Su-25. So yeah, this landed. It's kind of a longer video, so I'm not going to show the whole thing, but totally recommend taking a look at this if you want to see how the GPS works in the MB339 and get a sneak preview of how the aircraft is shaping up. So moving on, as alluded by a number of people in the chat, we had a new video from Razbam demonstrating the F-15E Strike Eagle. This one's nice because they go over the MPDs, like the basic operation of the MPDs. We get a sneak peek of some of the pages, although I would assume that most of the pages as yet are not implemented because they don't show us that many of them. But we see some of the basics. It's nice to see the operation of that. And we also, of course, get a little bit of a sneak peek of the South Atlantic map, because once again, we're flying over the South Atlantic here. And it's really shaping up. Hopefully we're going to see this map fairly soon. Although, as I learned last week, chat told me that the installation is pretty massive, so I might need to make some space on my hard drive for this one. But yeah, actually, looking at the F-15E stick, as chat said, yes, it looks to be the same as the F-18 stick. I guess that would make sense. Am I right in thinking the F-15 and the F-18 are both Boeing aircraft? I can't remember, but yeah, I've got a funny feeling the F-15 is also Boeing. Photo, Growling Sidewinder did a nice preview as well. Yep, actually, I have. I'm not going to show it, but I mentioned that one next. I'm going to show some more information on the F-15. Yep, Yogi, exactly as you say. Check the stick. Does look, absolutely looks familiar. Yep, looks the same. I don't see the recce switch though. Looks like the recce switch is missing, but maybe you just don't need that in the F-15, so explain it. But yeah, very cool. You know, not much more to say. The chappie making the video talks quite a lot about the basics of operation, how the push buttons are labeled and so on, and then he brings up these menus, and of course we have 3 layers of menu with quite a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, we can see TSD, terrain following, and HSI, armament page, targeting pod, 2s, the air-to-air and air-to-ground modes for the radar, just so much stuff, and that's only in the first layer of the menu. There's so much stuff in this aircraft, so it's going to be really cool. Yeah, they're both Boeing. Cool. Or Boeing, they're both Boeing jets. So that would make a lot of sense. There's going to be a lot of shared tech. Also, if you look at this digital engine instrument, this is very familiar from the F-18 as well. Yeah, this emergency jettison actually looks like the same part as well. So yeah, a lot of common parts here between the different aircraft. So very cool to see. Again, recommend watching this video. There's a lot of really cool stuff. And yes, I know there's also a video by Growling Sidewinder. That's actually the next thing that I'm going to talk about. Stormbirds talked a bit about the F-15E and all these new videos that have come out. Going beyond the MPD tutorial that we got in the last video, this time out it's Growling Sidewinder with a very early look at the DCS F-15E. This is the most we've seen of the F-15E so far. If you're a fan, you don't want to miss this. We've got a bunch of screenshots that were shared on Stormbirds from this. He demonstrates both the front and the back cockpit, which is nice to see, and he demonstrates a few of the pages on the MPDs, but I get the impression that not all of the pages are functional as yet. Otherwise, I would assume they would show them off. But there's a very interesting loadout in the F-15E. You've got, I can see 4 AMRAAMs straight away, 3 fuel bags, and some laser-guided bombs. So there's a real kind of swing roll loadout on the aircraft there. Really cool to see that. You know, the F-15E is an aircraft that is absolutely capable of escorting itself. It doesn't, when it's going into like an interdiction style mission, it doesn't need an escort, I would suggest. So yeah. Yes, a photo asking about dotChuckles. Yep, he's still unwell, sadly. So we sent him his best, and hopefully he'll be back joining us very soon. Yogi, now you've seen the F-15E video, what's your prediction for the launch date? Well, launch, who knows, but certainly early access has been promised by the end of this year. So I think we can say that it's definitely coming later in the year in early access, I would say. But it's looking very, very good. I'm happy with the progress they've shown so far, and it is in excess of what I expected. So that's very good to see. So in the backdrop, we see the new RASBAM DCS South Atlantic map that's currently in development. But it's the airplane in the foreground that steals all of the attention. DCS F-15E Strike Eagle has been in development for years now, and it looks like RASBAM is ready to show us a lot more as it now in the hands of Gröling Sidewinder, so we can get a nice preview of the jet. This video coming hot on the heels of the last one shows us a lot more. The exterior and interior with the look of both front and rear seats really helps us what this is all about. Gröling Sidewinder gives us a good look at both the overall cockpit and the details. He also gets into the systems a little bit. But yeah, I've watched this video. We don't see a lot. Like, he flies the aircraft and you know, he flips through some different pages, but we're not really seeing that much just yet. So I can only assume that we're going to learn a lot more in the future. But still, very, very cool to see. Like, you know, he flips through some different elevation settings and things like that. So you know, nothing. Oops. Nothing too revolutionary or exciting getting shown just yet. Bomb truck, woo! Before Xmas, I hope, says Abfoso. Yes, yes, I would suspect this is going to land in early access before Christmas. That would be my prediction, and I think that's what RASBAM have trialed as well. Excellent. So, this has been a very, very short news week, but that's actually pretty much everything we have for this week. So as always, I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to the VAF. Both myself and dotChuckles are the founders of the Virtual Air Force, otherwise known as the VAF. It's a opt-in milsim style virtual squadron. You've got the option of joining us as a freelancer, and you can fly any aircraft you like. You can attend missions or trainings at your leisure, and there's no mandatory training. However, you also have the option of choosing to join one of our numbered squadrons. Those are dedicated for a particular airframe, and we have squadrons currently for the F-16, F-18, F-14, the Apache, the Harrier, and the A-10. And those include mandatory training and qualifications, and a little bit more of a milsim style approach. So if you're into that kind of thing, please check out the Virtual Air Force. The Discord link has just been posted in the chat, and you'll also find it in the show notes below. We're always looking for more people, and even if you just want to hang out, if you want to chat with people like dotChuckles and myself, Frantic, Northman, and all the others, they're all present in the Discord as well. So yes, please join the Discord. You'd be very, very welcome to come hang out with us. Coming in June, says Byron. Oh, the type what? Mirage F1 is coming in June, I assume. Oh, right, Cruise Page DED, not the Typhoon. I was about to say, I don't think the Typhoon is coming in June. I'm not even sure about the Mirage F1. There's no further news on the Mirage F1 as yet. Also, no further news on the Typhoon as yet. The latest thing that we had was them talking about all of their computational fluid dynamics that they were applying to the different weapons, which is very, very exciting. Yeah, Cruise Page, you know. When the Cruise Page lands in June, that's when I'm getting back into the F-16. It's unflyable, literally unflyable without the Cruise Page. Imagine trying to drive your car without a fuel gauge. Mental, absolutely mental. Oh, thank you very much for the donation there, Irish Pat 64. That's very, very kind of you, sir. I salute you. Big shout out. So yes, everybody, please join the VAF if you have any kind of an interest in flying with us. And then I guess that just leaves me to say that I'm Deepak. Usually every week I post a tutorial video. The current series is based on the Hornet. Still have a lot more to do with that. And the next one will be the Harpoon video that I was supposed to be posting today, but sadly have bumped up against too much in the way of bugs in order to be able to finish that one. I'm actually gone next week, so there'll be no Hornet video or DCS news next week. I'm in Scotland again for another wedding. So I'm nipping away for that, but normal service will be resumed the week after. But yes, I've been Deepak. Normally I would post a premiere every Saturday, followed by the DCS News, which just happens to be this thing, what you're watching now. Let me just check the chat before I sign off. Photo, please give dotChuckles the best and hope he gets better soon. Irish Pat also, please tell Chuckles he's been missed. I will do so. He's been missed by me as well. It's sad not to have his friendly face on the screen next to me. But yes, I hope that you've all enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you all next time. Fly safe.